At a deep abyss on both sides are towering cliffs. The assassin Luke Pham, and his face covered by a black cloak, spoke softly. "I'm very busy, all of you come at once." He was facing many strong enemies of a large sect. The leader saw his arrogance and threatened him. "You've only killed a few of us and you're already so arrogant." "Just a few. It's because they don't know how to count. If they like it, he'll indulge them." So the whole group took up weapons and rushed towards Luke Pham An, wanting to beat him up. But every single one of them who rushed forward was cut in half by his sword. Some had their necks separated from their bodies, others had their stomachs separated from their legs. He couldn't even remember the number of people he had killed. He only knew that the sword in his hand was stained with a lot of blood. Anyone who wants to kill him must die. He simply killed those who were tailing him like an instinct. The others just knew how to rush forward and attack. They considered him their only enemy, so they didn't let him gain the upper hand. They want to turn today into his death anniversary. You want him dead when the freedom he has been searching for 30 years is right in front of him. They're the ones who deserve to die, those damned bastards. Luke Pham An, who will kill them all if that is necessary so that he can find his freedom. Just thinking about it gives him the motivation to fight. They thought they had their chance. Now was the moment when he couldn't escape. And then the scene before their eyes made them all unable to close their mouths and exclaim, "How could this be possible?" He stood on their sword tip proud and majestic. Then jump high into the sky, breaking the enemy's crowded situation. They panicked, "No way. He is one of the world's top 10 experts." They panicked, "No way. He is one of the 10 greatest masters in the world, known as the world's #1 assassin king killer, Luke Pham An." One of his swords made the whole mountain explode. The guys below died like ants. He has reached his limit. They're not all dead yet. They're hunting him down. They already knew he was at his limit, so they aggressively chased after him. No matter how strong he is, the enemy is too numerous for him to resist alone. Unbelievable that even though he fought until the sword became chipped, there was still so much left. Do they hate his idea of freedom that much? Then whoever stands in his way will die by his sword. As he spoke, his eyes turned blood red. A circular sword sweep sends all enemies flying. Luke Pham An, he may be the world's #1 assassin and be called the king of assassins, but he is forever just a hunting dog of the leaders of Lai Tien Min. The sword was stained with blood. Was the battle over? Your killing is simply following orders. What do you know about life? Even if you go to the other world, you will be cursed forever. Life and the people he killed. Eternity is a never-ending chain of death. His abdomen was seriously injured. Blood flows like a river. He thought to himself that he had to try to survive. He has lived his whole life as Lai Tien Min's dog. Damn, it took him a long time to find freedom after cutting off the chain tied to his neck. Now he wanted to try to take advantage of this moment, trying to suppress the pain. He took the sword and stood up. Almost there. Just a little more. There is a secret place around here. If he uses the elixir and herbs there to heal his wounds and restore his internal energy, he will be freed. Just hold on just a little longer. But in the end, he fell down in pain. Before his wound could be treated, he would probably die of hunger. He can't believe he's only eaten a few pieces of beef jerky for 7 days. He's really so hungry he can't stand it. He lay on the ground looking up at the night sky. The full moon made him think of a dumpling. Then in that split second, suddenly a dark shadow appeared, flashed across the moon, and attacked him. Luckily, he reacted quickly. That guy's stealth technique is too good. Even he, the world's #1 assassin, couldn't detect it. When confronting that guy, the guy's moves seemed a bit familiar to him. His martial power was strong enough to cut through the forest with just his sword energy. This stranger is definitely the strongest assassin in the south-central region, Tuquan. If it was Lai Tien Min chasing him, he would still be able to understand. But he did not expect that the elite soldiers of Iron Blood Citadel, the 8 emperors of Iron Kings, and Tuquan would all come. Although Luke Pham An was exhausted after defeating hundreds of experts, a great martial arts expert like Tuquan knew that well enough. It would be easier than ever to kill him now. But if that's the case, then that guy is just profiting off of other people's efforts. Hearing this, he became furious. His eyes were red with blood vessels, and he angrily pointed the sword at him. But before he could act, Luke Pham An was faster and took his life with a sword. After finishing him off, he sighed and said, "Enough of this nonsense, come out." As soon as he finished speaking, a beautiful woman appeared. She was Fi Yu Vuong. She felt honored that after 6 years he still remembered her. That beautiful, charming, and graceful face softly said, "Long time no see, Luke Faman." Under the bright yellow moonlight, a gray-haired old man rode a white horse over a pile of corpses. His subordinates went to check and report. "Grand Elder, all the corpses here are experts of Iron Blood City." That old man is the great elder Lai Thien Min. His name is Mo Dung. He even surpassed the heavenly net of the heavenly Ming. He also massacred all the experts of the Iron Blood City, truly worthy of the title of King of Killing Luke Pham An. Mo Dung raised his hand signal. All his subordinates knelt down and were ready to obey his orders. Mong Dong shouted loudly, his face full of spirit, "Following Fi Yu Vuong's death aura, Luke Pham, and he is there." The beautiful and charming Fi Yu Vuong approached him. She was honored that after all these years he still remembered her. Fi Yu Vuong, also known as Kwong Tu Lien, although over 60 years old, still maintains a beautiful appearance like she was just 30 thanks to facial surgery. If you just look at her face, you will feel that this is a person that even an ant would not dare to kill. But in fact, she is a murderer. If she doesn't kill someone for a day, she will lose sleep and go crazy. There was no shortage of people from Iron Blood City. The strongest assassins and soldiers died at her hands. Could it be that today she plans to stop at nothing to catch me? Damn it, but he still has another way. Huang Tu Lien looked disappointed. They have a good relationship, but he pointed his sword at her, Luke Pham, and warned her not to casually manipulate the relationship between the two of them. It's best not to talk about it anymore. She whined, "You're so cold. In your current state, you can't stand many moves anyway. Why don't I give you some easier options?" Luke Pham. Anne picked up his bloody sword and challenged her, "You have to fight to know how many moves you have. A 60-year-old woman like you is all talk. What's so scary about that?" Huang Tu Lien was angry at being called an old woman, warning him, "If you call me an old woman one more time, even if you beg, I will still pull out your bones." He was too afraid of her threats. During the time they didn't see each other, Huang Tu Lien became more and more sensitive. He wasn't afraid to gently open his mouth and call Huang Tu Lien old lady again, causing her to grit her teeth and turn angry. Then she smiled again. Huang Tu Lien understood that it was true. The fact that he was determined to become Lai Thien Min's assassin certainly had a reason for her to accept this commission and go to Iron Blood City. Luke Pham. Anne's true energy is the kind of righteous and immortal energy that makes her nauseous. He must have learned it at the 9 great sects. It was really a very clever thing. After all, Zhang Ju Lian's goal was to capture him alive. But how was he able to kill so many masters? It was definitely thanks to the martial arts of the 9 sects, which were secret techniques. He also knew why he liked watching blood flow more than talking. It was because Huang Tu Lien only talked nonsense. It was obvious that she wanted to know Li Tianming's confidential information and the 9 sects martial arts from him. Huang Tu Lien praised him for being smart. She thought he was a blockhead killer who only knew how to kill people, but it turned out he also knew how to think. But Huang Tu Lien didn't think that even if he knew about the Iron Blood cities, he wouldn't tell her. She frowned. "Oh, I've been discovered." In fact, things like the Iron Blood City's commission and Li Tianming's confidential information weren't things she needed. What Huang Tu Lien really needed was the martial arts of the 9 sect. Just let her know, and she will save him. Then it will probably work. After all, I feel like there are many people in the world who are not that virtuous. Is it because of the blood neck that you're like this? Hearing Huang Tu Lien mention the blood neck, he was startled. The last thing that those who betrayed Lai Thien Min had to suffer was the blood neck. Those who have the blood in their body, if they do not obey the orders of the leader, will be judged by the blood neck. The leader saved his life, but he was not grateful for that favor. His life and death and the lives of others all belong to the leader of Li Tianmin. Luke Pham and can never escape from Li Tianmin in this life. That's right, it's the blood goo. If he can get rid of it, then even if he reveals martial arts or secrets of the 9 sects, he won't need to worry about Lai Thien-min. Huang Tu Lien has learned the magic of death, so she has an extremely deep understanding of poison. If it's her aura, it can definitely remove the blood on his body. Luke Pham An bowed his head, eyes blankly looking down at the ground. Huang Tu Lien suggested, "How I can make you free. He just needs to tell her the martial arts of the 9 sects." Luke Pham An laughed. She actually thought that the reason he chased her was just to get away from Li Tianmin. Zhang Zilian was surprised. Could it be that the ancient blood on your body is gone? Of course. After all, Luke Faman is also one of the top 10 experts. 5 years ago, he found a way to detoxify the ancient blood. If you want to escape from Li Tianming's net of heaven and earth, you need to reach a higher realm. It just takes time to achieve that. Luke Pham. And once thought he had almost done it. If he gave her the martial arts of the 9 schools, would Kuang Tulin save him? "Stop talking nonsense!" Luke Pham, An shouted. Does she think he doesn't know her vicious heart like a snake? His life had been in their hands for 30 years, so now he wouldn't let anyone play with his life anymore. Kuang Tu Lien should disappear from his sight. If she ran away now, at least she could keep that dirty life. However, she thought that a dying man like him would not have such arrogance. Don't worry for nothing, because she is not a fool like him and has never let someone who humiliated her live. Looking at Luke Faman's eyes, she understood that he would not tell her about the martial arts of the 9 sects. Kuang Tu Lien's eyes also showed him that she would not save him. Then go die. The two of them attacked each other. The power of the two of them, when they first touched, caused an extremely large explosion, causing smoke dust and rocks to fly up. Before his sword, she blocked it and used one of her 5 fingers to pierce through Luke Pham An's hand, causing blood to spurt out. He was in so much pain that his face was covered with red veins. At this moment, Grand Elder Li Tianmin appeared. He don't know when he came from. He cut off his legs. Kuang Tu Lien also followed suit and took away his 2 arms. Luke Pham An painfully collapsed on the ground. She was not satisfied and directly pierced his heart. Luke Pham An's blood flowed like a river under the cruelty of these 2 demons in human form. Luke Pham and spat blood from his mouth and vomited a lot of red blood onto the ground. Kuang Tu Lien grabbed his head and said, "Since you no longer have any limbs, I sympathize with you now." But a second later, she changed her mind and wanted to take his head too. That beautiful face has turned into a real devil. She wants to take his head so he can't talk nonsense anymore. Kuang Tu Lien broke his head. Her face exuded satisfaction. She wanted him to crawl like an insect even in the other world to be satisfied. Is this tragic ending the last thing in Luke Pham An's life? In that moment, his whole life was like a dream. He wanted to live a normal life once in his life as a human being, like that person. Was it so difficult? If he had another chance, he definitely wouldn't let his fate come to a dead end like this moment. At the heavenly demon god sect in the mountains, a shirtless young man revealing healthy white skin was lying dying on the bed. His hands were shaking. The body suddenly changed a bit. If Luke Pham An had another chance, what would happen? At the headquarters of the heavenly demon god sect, the medicine room's subordinate opened the door and reported, "I would like to be the son of the 4 gods." The 4th son of the sect held a cigar in his hand and smoked it leisurely. The faint smoke could not hide his handsome features. That villain is preparing to check the pulse of 3rd young master Tran An, who will die at any time tonight. The 4th prince heard and smiled happily. I understand. More than he expected. This would make things easier. In a memory of the male lead, Luke Pham An. On the blood-stained battlefield, he and a friend are resting for a while before setting off. Luke Pham An was worried that they wouldn't be able to rest for too long. If the leader caught them, it wouldn't be good. His teammate was holding something in his hand that caught his attention. Seeing that Luke Pham An was curious, he showed him. It was a new wooden statue that he had made himself. He asked him, "Are you tired of this life of struggle? I want to escape from here at all costs. I want to live the rest of my life wandering freely like a bird in the sky. No more disgusting stench of blood, but to return to a quiet countryside without the smell of fresh storks." After hearing that, he also wanted to go with his friend to the countryside full of fresh grass. But he disagreed and scolded him, "Stop dreaming." Then he spat out fresh blood from his mouth. After that, he fell to the ground and died on the spot. There was a voice behind. We saved his life, but he didn't dare to be grateful and wanted to run away. He was the last of those who betrayed Li Tianmin. The ancient blood in their bodies will destroy those who disobey. Followed by a series of memories before dying, when Kuang Tu Lien's head was broken off. Her hideous face startled him awake from his deep sleep. Panicked, he woke up not knowing if this was a dream or reality. He just unconsciously touched his neck. Just now, Kuang Tu Lien pulled out his head, but why was he here now? Looking around, still can't recognize where this is. This room is very luxurious. Someone came to his room. A maid named Thu Lan, holding medicine, asked permission to enter the room to see him. She suddenly realized that the third young master had disappeared and was no longer lying on the sickbed. Suddenly, a sharp object was pressed against her neck, making her panic. He was behind her, threatening her, "Be quiet, otherwise you won't know what will happen if you make a sound." He asked her, "Who are you? Are you from Iron Blood City?" Thu Lan was scared and didn't understand what the young master said. She was his maid, Thu Lan. Seeing him acting strangely, was it because he was unwell somewhere, or did she do something to displease him? Luke Pham. Anne still did not realize that he had reincarnated into the body of the third young master, Tran An, continuously threatening the maid and warning her, "Stop talking nonsense and tell the truth. Who sent you here?" But no one told her, "Isn't it because of you? You've been in a coma for months after being possessed and just woke up 2 days ago?" "I don't understand. What nonsense is this? Why am I in a coma after being possessed by a demon I clearly died at the hands of Kwang Tu Lien?" Luke Pham. And stubbornly threatened the maid, Thu Lan. "Quickly tell the truth and stop talking nonsense." Thu Lan was helpless. "I really just prepared a simple meal for you to eat after you wake up." At this moment, he accidentally looked at the mirror next to him. Seeing his reflection, he was even more startled. What is this? Why is it a young person? He had become an old man, but the fact that he had died was definitely not a dream. What happened? Could it be reincarnation or reincarnation? How could this absurd thing happen? Thu Lan softly called young master when she saw him standing still. "So where is he now?" Luke Pham. Anne opened the window and looked around. A place like this in the martial arts, and what the hell are these things in front of him? Looking out the door, there were 2 men walking to his room. They were also shocked to see the third young master standing up like this. The man in black saw him and knelt down, shouting loudly, "The religion is invincible, all demons submit. Congratulations to the third prince on his recovery." He heard them say something and didn't understand anything. What is theistic religion? If it was a divine religion at this time, would it be the Tianma divine cult and the demonic cult? In the court of the demon god, Great Dharma protector of the religion Min Dot requests to see the leader. He knelt down respectfully. The leader, sitting on the throne, asked coldly, "What's the matter?" He had something to report. Reporting to the sect master, the third young master has woken up. He was the sect master's third son. However, due to lying in bed for too long, the third young master lost all his martial arts skills. Mindat asked how the sect leader planned to deal with the third young master. Hearing the Great Dharma Protector's report, the sect leader shouted loudly, "Great Dharma Protector!" The power of a single word can cause a storm to arise in the room. Even candles are not careful and are about to go out. The Great Dharma Protector knelt down and begged, "Please tell me, Master." The leader instructed, "Don't report anything more until I finish my seclusion in 3 months." The sect leader finished instructing the Great Protector and then fell silent. The Great Dharma Protector bowed his head to accept the command, wishing the leader great success. "I sincerely hope that this will be yours." The Heavenly Demon Sect is the place known as the Millennium Demon Sect. It is the strongest and oldest demonic force. It is definitely the strongest force, and its very existence is also a symbol of chaos that makes the martial arts world tense. If we just simply calculate the total number, the people of the Heavenly Demon Sect are still overwhelming, even if the people of Li Thien Min and Tiran Blood City join forces. Li Thien Min, Iron Blood, and the Devil are known as the 3 worlds of Jianghu, in which the devil is considered more dangerous than war and plague. It is the worst group of demons in history. But why did he end up here as soon as he opened his eyes? Could it be that he was really given a new life? But why must it be in the devil's sect life is full of laughter and tears? He reassured himself, "I have to calm down. Now I have to grasp the current situation and gradually plan for the future." That night, he went out with his face covered to scout the situation. It was still a bit too much to use stealth magic. He heard gossip about his awakening. Third young master, the strongest of the 7 disciples of the demonic sect, has awakened. The bloody struggle has begun again. They were talking, but forgot to be careful. No one wants to get caught up in it and become a pawn. It's a miracle because it's been half a year since Tam Kong Tu woke up from his state of being possessed by a demon, but he lost all his martial arts. If he still has martial arts in that state, he's just like the nickname of a demon. If that demon wakes up, it will cause the blood of many other people to dry up. Now, when mentioning Tam Kong Tu, you have to be careful or you'll die. Hearing the gossip about Tam Kong Tu, or even about himself, Luke Pham An could only shake his head. This young master is a wicked man. I don't know how he lived. Anyway, this place is definitely a demonic cult, and if you want to leave here, you need to have a perfect plan. Even though it only took an hour, the stealth technique was beyond the endurance of this body. Actually, the fact that he's still alive is great. His physical condition is equivalent to that of an 80-year-old woman. First, I must restore the state of this body. Luke Pham An sat cross-legged in the room preparing to practice to try it out. Sure enough, the entire 8 meridians were in disorder. The shriveled and rotten fibers in his body will make them disappear. He started chanting. The temperature in the room has also increased. The air in the room is extremely humid. With endless effort, all the toxic gases in the body will be pushed out. In his previous life, he studied some martial arts of the 9 Tai sect and created the Wu Hin Gong. Wu Hinko to the person without any backing his life. A moment after he had used his energy, he opened his eyes and sighed. That's all it took to achieve what he had hoped for. It was uncomfortably quiet anyway. Quite some time had passed since he woke up, but no one had come to this place other than the hospital. The people from the Imperial Hospital were very respectful when examining him. They also saw that his recovery was extremely fast. Until they met again, they wanted him to take care of his health. Even the servants trembled when serving him every time they brought him medicine. This third young master, nicknamed the Devil, is indeed as rumored. He is definitely a bastard without any humanity. I can't be hasty until I understand this place clearly, he told himself. 3 months later, the 4 young masters in the cigar room wondered, why has 3 months passed without anything unusual happening? On the contrary, the third prince recovered at a rapid rate. Isn't it true that the stronger the traces of demonic power, the more dangerous they are? That's obvious. But something strange happened to the third young master. Tranan, the third young master, is always outside of his self-adhesion. He is the 4th young master, Hong Min. The subordinate asked what he planned to do next. He asked back, when will Thuk Duong arrive? According to the letter, Thuk Duong will arrive at Bon Son around noon today. It was half a year before Thuk Duong converted. Something interesting is about to happen. He asked his subordinates to follow Thuk Duong and report back to him. In the room, Luke Pham An still practices diligently day and night. His body is much stronger than it was 3 months ago. Each of his punches has immense destructive power, practicing until the wall in the room was punctured. Sweat drenched his body. In the past 3 months, he had tried his best to return his beggar-like body to normal. Thanks to that, of course, the poke ki and demonic chi that existed in his body had all disappeared without a trace. Thulan brings medicine to the young master every day. He also took the bowl of medicine and drank it all in one gulp. When he saw ancient blood at the bottom of the medicine bowl, he panicked and broke the bowl. As expected, he couldn't escape Lithian Min. The scolding words of great elder Lithian Min rushed back to his mind. He blamed him for betraying him when he was trained to become the world's #1 assassin. Even if he dies, he cannot escape Lithian Min. And the ancient worms are still there. Panicked for a moment, a voice called out in his ear, young master, young master." It was Thulan's voice that pulled him back to reality. She asked, "Are you okay, sir?" It turned out to be an illusion. The bowl of medicine was still in his hand. Thulan asked permission to leave. The new life he's always dreamed of. As expected, he can have freedom. After taking a bath, he put on black clothes. Then he heard a voice saying that someone was looking for him. It was someone from the demonic sect. That person didn't let Thulan report, but directly rushed to his place. A purple-haired girl appeared walking in the door. "Long time no see." He did not recognize her, but he saw Thulan being slapped by her and blushing behind her. Who is this beautiful woman? She walked straight into his room. He looked much better than she thought. Luke Pham. Anne was trying to quickly think of a way to get out of this place. She saw him standing still without saying anything, so she said, "Are you going to stand like this forever? I want a cup of tea." At times like this, it's best to run. He thought, and then ran out the door, not forgetting to apologize to her. "I have urgent business, please forgive me." But after running out the door, he was stopped by her two big subordinates. She asked the third young master to talk with her. Not knowing how long she would speak, she asked her subordinates to block anyone from entering. Then she invited him to sit down and they would talk. Luke Pham An's mind was very confused right now, so he told her, "My body has just recovered and I haven't taken a bath yet. Wait for me to change my clothes." The girl agreed to wait and hoped he wouldn't think of something else. This woman is not ordinary at first glance, so I have to listen to her. He called his maid Thu Lan to follow him to the changing room. In the dressing room, he asked who the girl was. The reason is that after the deviation, his head was in so much pain that he couldn't remember anything anymore. Thu Lan heard his reason, and tears welled up in her eyes. "Young master, please don't die." Why did he have to die when he had just come back to life not long ago? The girl's name is Thuk Duong, a demon who is on duty in the inner palace of the religions Huan Hien Vien, a disciple of the Chi Ha family, one of the 7 demon families, an outstanding strong disciple who handles work skillfully, a female knight recognized by the martial arts world, the younger sister of the 4th son of Hong Min. So why did she come to me if it had anything to do with me? Thu Lan doesn't know about this either, but they meet twice a month, so their relationship is not normal. He thanked her for letting him know. He didn't forget to ask if Thu Lan's face was okay. "Your cheek is swollen, but it will go down quickly." Thu Lan was touched by his concern. "Have you lost your mind?" The third young master in the past always scolded her for being stupid and dying quickly. He turned back to Thuk Duong. "I was rude to keep you waiting." Thuk Duong didn't mind too much. He directly asked her what's wrong. His gentle words and attitude were completely different from the third young master's attitude before. The disdainful gaze also disappeared. It seems that after the deviation, martial arts were damaged. There is nothing to hide between the two of them. They both know each other well, so she will speak frankly. Then took out the so-called contract with their hand seal. The person who cancels the contract first or causes the contract to be cancelled will have to pay triple compensation. The value of the elixir she invested in was almost 1 tile of gold. Adding the other outside money, it was a little over 1,000 tiles. Considering the situation, she would give up the odd parts. Elixir support money. He received elixir and support money from the younger sister of your opponent's 4th young master. What is this third young master, Tran An, thinking? He picked up the contract and read it. Thuk Duong asked An to quickly pay her 6,000 tiles of gold. If the situation is difficult, he just needs to write a commitment to pay the debt. Thanks to the secret that Mr. Tran An was possessed by a demon, she pretended to be the victim. She broke the contract and recovered the investment money. She intended to raise war horses to enjoy wealth and glory, but now that she saw that the horse was sick, she could not abandon it. Kids these days are already doing such bad things. Luke Pham. Anne picked up the contract and asked her, "Okay, just write a commitment, right?" Thuk Duong was surprised because it was so easy. He called Tu Lan to prepare paper, pen, and ink. Do anything bad. Anyway, it has nothing to do with him. Just do as she wants first. Anyway, he will leave here. Thuk Duong could not believe his eyes. Third young master is someone who can write a commitment on his own. He was always foolish. But now he's not too foolish. Then she'll seize the opportunity. "Hey," she told him, "there is still one thing. If you can't pay your debt, you must obey my orders like a loyal dog." Want to order Luke Pham An around like a dog? This brat has touched his self-esteem. The contract was finished. Thuk Duong stood up and said, "The contract will be cancelled when I collect the full amount of money. Until then, please maintain the dignity of a contract holder." "You want me to keep the quality of this tattered contract?" Thuk Duong saw that he had been obediently following her all this time, but now he suddenly turned on her, so she was a bit surprised. Luke Pham An called Thu Lan. "Quickly go out and call the guards." Maid Thu Lan obeyed his order and went out to call the guards. Thuk Duong did not understand why he called the guard. Very quickly after that, the guard appeared and knelt down to pay his respects. "Greetings, third young master. Did you call for me?" He asked the guard, "Go prepare the carriage. I have work to do." Seeing that he was sick, his subordinate added, "Third young master, please forgive me for going too far. Your health is not suitable for going out right now." He wanted to go to the sect master's palace, prepare the carriage, and quickly report to the sect master's palace that today the third young master will come to pay his respects to the master. After listening, The subordinate quickly went to report to the demon god palace to let the sect leader know the carriage will be prepared after the sect leader gives permission. Thukduang panicked, her face full of worry, looking at him. However, Luke Pham and still put on an ignorant face and asked her back, "What's the matter? Do we have to let the Hajia talk know about this? Go to the sect leader's palace to see if this commitment is satisfactory or not." Thukduang didn't understand his intentions. Do you want them to die together? Do you want the patriarch to know what's going on? Of course, anything. Thukduang was worried, because if the sect leader knows about this transaction, you won't be able to rest in peace. She said, "Yes. If you knew about this, you would be shocked. After all, you are now just a crippled martial artist and you might even be kicked out. But if he were in that situation, what would happen to her? Everyone knows how great her family is. But one thing is clear, he might be kicked out, but if she is careless, she might be thrown into prison. The crime committed by the daughter could also cause the Chiha family to collapse." Hearing the threats and visions drawn by Luke Pham An made her a little scared. Her face was no longer as arrogant as before. He turned around, took the commitment, and walked out the door. "Then I'll go first. I still have to go for a walk." Thukduang called him back. "Wait, don't you want to have power? How can I rule with this body? This is ridiculous. Is it true that Thukduang knew he had no hope, so he came here to collect debt? It would be best if they met at the Lord's palace. What should Thukduang do? What should she do so that he won't report to the sect leader?" He shoved the contract in her face and asked her to tear it up. "Tear it up yourself." In the past, someone asked him if he wasn't bored with this life. That person wanted to escape from Li Tianmin and go to a quiet countryside, a place without the disgusting smell of blood. At that time, he and Li Tianmin's men went to punish traitors. He looked at the people he had just killed, a child and a woman. Only 2 of them remained after the entire place was searched. These were considered traitors and plotters, so Luke Pham An was sure there were still people hiding. Then he asked his subordinates to search again. Li Tianmin's men listened to him and obeyed his orders. Then he discovered in the hand of the boy he had just killed was a bird made of wood like his friend's. He picked up the bloody bird and realized it was his friend's son. Immediately after that, his friend, heavily injured, rushed forward to kill Li Tianmin's subordinates. Seeing his son and wife injured, he could not control his emotions and rushed forward to slash everyone present, causing blood to splatter everywhere, even onto Luke Pham An's face. He hugged his son, tears streaming down his face. Pham An panicked and begged him to listen to him. He explained that he only punished traitors. They were traitors who plotted to rebel. He really didn't know that it was his son. The people he had just killed were just part of the job, and taking the lives of others and having fun killing people was his job. Before he died, his friend asked Luke Pham An, "Do you know what life is? The things that assassins do are not life. He wants to curse you after he goes to the other world. His life and all the people he killed. Back to reality. In the identity of the 3rd young master, will the journey he has to take be less painful? 3rd young master is on a horse-drawn carriage preparing to go to the palace to meet the leader. At the temple of the leader, the maids are respectfully serving the leader. From his haircut to his clothes, everything was meticulously taken care of by his subordinates. The great Dharma protector appeared and knelt down to congratulate the leader of the great success. The face of the sect leader stabs. He reached for his wine bottle and poured it into a bowl. He was very surprised when he heard his subordinate reporting that the 3rd son, the 3rd young master, requested to see him. "Just now, I sent a carriage to the 3rd young master's place, so in about 2 moments the 3rd young master will be here." The leader gently raised his cup and drank all the wine. He stood behind the thin curtain and called "Great Protector." Then he used his hand to continue pouring wine and drinking. His body revealed firm-toned muscles. After swallowing a few bowls of wine, he ordered the Great Protector, "Teach the 3rd prince to judge the demon lord." The Great Protector was very surprised by this decision of the master. However, he quickly bowed his head, "Yes, master," then stood up and left to carry out the request of the master. The master stretched comfortably in his black dragon robe. Winter has come. Snow is falling, and the leaves are all gone. In the medical room, Luke Pham An felt the weather was too cold because he had not yet adapted to the surging aura entering his body. Through his pulse, the doctor who was taking his pulse was very surprised, because in just a few days, the damaged acupoints had recovered by another level. It was not just the acupoints. Although he used medicine and acupuncture, it was a very surprising level of recovery. He looked into his eyes and was frightened, quickly bowed his head, and asked him to forgive him for his rudeness as a petty person like him. It was just that Luke Pham On's recovery ability surprised him so much. He thought there was no need to continue acupuncture treatment. Instead, he would use nutritious foods and Qingjiang to help him recover. Luke Pham On understood but still had a question. What is Qingjiang? Why have I never heard of it? He explained, Qingjiang is a type of tonic that can replenish vital energy. This is a medicine created by the sect itself and is only used by those with high positions in the religion. It has the ability to replenish vital energy even if it is nutritious. Medicine is still medicine. If the medicine really works, you will probably recover much faster. The doctor bowed to him and said, I'll come back in 2 days and hope you recover quickly. He felt that maybe the problem stemmed from his feelings. His area is very wet in winter. The master? He will really meet that person. He am very curious about who that person is. In the martial arts world, there is no one who is not curious about the current devil, the enemy of the entire martial arts world. There was no other way, because he was the strongest person in the generations of the devil sect leaders. Although he had never really shown it, his strength was always mentioned by people as a strong candidate for the position of number 1 in the world. He is here while knowing nothing about the devil. Now if he leaves here, he might be in danger. He wondered if he should be more cautious. Remembering the story of Thuk Duong, who was threatened by him earlier, he knelt down and tore up the contract, crying because he had caused disrespect to him, a person of noble status like him. But he couldn't bear being born again, but having to become someone's dog. Just thinking about it made him angry. Because Thuk Duong also gave him an unreasonable contract that made him scratch his head in confusion. Thulan came to report, Sir, there is contact from the Demon God Palace. The carriage is ready. Please prepare to enter the palace. It's already like this, so I have to face it head on. I can't run away anymore. He opened the door and walked out with determination. The wild horse carriage rolled. He arrived at the palace of the sect master. The subordinate said, The master called you to judge the demon court. He invited him to follow him. The road to the demon court lies between 2 high mountains. He doesn't know what that place is anymore. The demon's court is located on top of a towering mountain. Inside, the master was enjoying wine and compliments. The sect leader is enjoying wine and praising the sweetness. He followed the entourage to the court. As expected, it is the lair of the demon sect. Was very heavily guarded. It felt just like being trapped in the net of Lithian Min and Iron Blood City. Between the 2 high cliffs, there are countless experts hiding everywhere. This is the ultimate dragon and tiger. Just one small mistake, and you will be killed immediately. The entourage took him to a stone door. This is the place. Is this the demon court? Not a court like he thought. The stone door slowly opened. Luke Pham On tried not to look surprised and had to act like he knew everything. Whether he could escape the evil cult or not depended on his every action. The attendant pushed open the stone door and invited him in. Luke Pham On tried to calm himself down and concentrate. The opponent was the leader of the evil cult, and the sight before his eyes after passing through the stone door surprised him. This is a mountain with extremely beautiful scenery. Flowers blooming everywhere look very vibrant. He don't understand what's going on. It's clearly winter now, but here it's spring. Birds and animals are living in the middle of the forest, colorful. He thought he was dreaming, had to rub his eyes several times. This is not a dream. If it's not a dream, then it's an illusion. That's right, because it's winter now. The scenery here definitely can't be real. This is also the scene he once wished to live after, withdrawing from Jiangho. This place was indeed exactly like in his imagination, but why did everything in the formation seem so real? Luke Pham An looked up at the peach blossoms. Unable to control himself, he raised his hand to touch the fresh flower petals. While he was enjoying the scenery, a voice startled him. Come here. He looked out at a pavilion in the distance and saw a figure with his back turned to him. There was no pavilion there just now. Someone appeared there with the pavilion. The petals fluttered in the wind with his steps. Every step he took stepped on flowers and grass. Wherever the first step goes, flowers and grass grow green. The next step you step on will immediately wither there. Just like that, he walked freely. The spirit feels like it's mesmerized. One step contains life and the other step is death. The sect leader found the third young master very interesting. This is his appearance as a judge of the devil. His king-killing instincts seemed to be awakened. He felt that this place seemed dangerous. Luke Pham An clenched his hands to encourage himself. But now he has to go there and can't turn back. If he wants to leave the evil cult and have a new life, he must meet the cult leader. Finally, he faced the devil. He was awarded the title of devil 9 times in history. The leader of the evil cult, Luong Vu Suong, has a youthful appearance, is incredibly beautiful, and has a muscular body. His face was filled with a deadly gaze. He was holding a bowl of wine in one hand and gently raised his head to look at him. Outside the stone cave, the great protector and his entourage were standing outside chatting after the third young master entered the stone door. The entourage was curious about what the great Dharma protector was thinking. Seeing that he was silent, his entourage quickly apologized because he thought he had gone too far. According to the instructions of the sect master in the devil court, except for the sect master, only 2 other people were allowed to enter. The first time the sect master accepted a disciple was 25 years ago. The first disciple he mentioned, could it be the first young master? It's not because the first young master, the sect leader's disciple, that it was exactly 25 years ago. If that's the case, then before the first young master, there was still another disciple, and the disciple in the dark that the attendant didn't know about died in the demon court. His body was like being eaten by a wild animal. His whole body was torn to pieces and deformed. If the sect master wants to kill that disciple, it is not necessary to lead to the devil court. And the remaining person who has come here is the middle merchant, the one who holds the supreme power and is governing all the affairs of the sect. The only man in the religion who climbed to the position of below 1 person and above 10,000 people by his brain, not martial arts. That was the second person to enter the court. That person walked out of the place with dignity. Today is the 3rd time the court of demons has been opened. Whether the 3rd young master can still live and return or not. Facing the master, what will be his ending? Luke Pham An knelt down to pay homage to the sect leader. I would like to ask permission to meet the sect leader. He told him, stand up quickly. This person is the leader of the sect Luong Vu Suong, completely different from the king of thousands of demons, the great master of the demon path. His words did not have any air of making others uncomfortable, but still exuded an air of majesty like Mount Tai. Even the top 10 experts still feel that pressure. The world's #1 martial god was in front of him, a half-immortal expert. How could someone so strong not roam the martial arts world? This momentum alone made Luke Pham An's soul leave his body. He had to try to calm down. Where had the self-esteem of the 10 great masters gone? The master poured wine into a bowl and then gave it to him. Take it. Luke Pham An respectfully received, thank you, sect master. The wine smells very good. It's been a long time since he had such a high-class wine. Without thinking much, he immediately drank all the good wine. The sect leader opened his mouth and said, I heard you wanted to find me. He remembered that he was the one who wanted to meet him. The master asked him why. He was so cold that it made him think, is this how the teacher-student relationship between 2 people in the demonic sect is? Anyway, the master of the demonic cult is clearly someone who doesn't like to chat. He shouldn't talk nonsense, but should honestly get straight to the point. Luke Pham An said he had something to ask the sect master. The leader asked again, help, what do you need? He put the bowl of wine on the table, stuttering, wanting to say, what are you hesitating about? I was once a great master, but can't I speak properly and just stutter? Finally, he decided to say to the master, can I leave the sect? Then he realized something was wrong. He would be beheaded right after saying this. He clearly only intended to ask for permission to go out for a while. The master's face was calm as water. He drank wine and asked again, you want to leave the demon sect? Seeing his expression, he thought it would be better if he was honest. The master held out the bowl of wine and asked him to pour it. Luke Pham An didn't know what to do but obey. He couldn't read anything from his expression. He couldn't guess what this other person was thinking. The leader said, you are too vague when you want to go out for a while. This means you want to cut off your relationship with the religion and are not satisfied with your position as his disciple. He didn't mean it at all. Panicked, he waved his hand, and before he could explain further, the master continued, your body became like this, making you give up. In the end, is that all you can do? You disappoint me. Luke Pham. And thought in his mind what he had to say. Damn it, I don't know what to say. Finally, I explained, it's not that I intend to cut ties with the sect. It's just that my body has just recovered not long ago, and I've lost all my martial arts. If it's like this, then just say it. I really tried my best, but it wasn't easy, so I thought it would be better if I went out to change the atmosphere. I came to ask you for that. After saying that, he found it very reasonable. But the master put the wine bowl down on the table very hard. He asked again, "You came to see me just to ask for permission to go out?" I think it's a big deal because I thought it was too simple. Thinking about it again, it's unreasonable to go to the leader of the heavenly demon god sect, who is called the supreme demon god, just to ask to go out. The master asked but did not see him answer, so he asked again. This is not the time to think about other things. Luke Pham. Anne must quickly think about what to say. Luke Pham, Anne stammered. It's been a long time, so I also want to see Master. The sect master's eyes looked up at him after hearing this. It seems that this expression is not bad, so Luke Pham and Thuan continued to talk nonsense. Even though I'm in this situation, shouldn't I still maintain my duties as a disciple? I can't repay all the favors the sect master has bestowed upon me. But if I can't even greet the sect master, then it won't be good. While speaking, he thought that trying to stimulate the sect master's feelings might be better, but the bowl of wine in his hand was crushed into powder. The sect leader said in a low voice, "How is this the way of a disciple?" He stood up. His tall figure made Luke Pham and overwhelmed. "If you knew how to keep your morals, you shouldn't appear before me like this." He has been awake for 4 days now. Looking at the devil's eyes, did he know that I was inside the third young master's body? It feels like he's seen through my heart. How is he going to justify this time? The master turned away. He didn't know if he had been discovered. But the words just now sounded a bit resentful. Is it unreasonable for a disciple who survived a mental breakdown to pay respect to his master after regaining consciousness? Is he really that strange? How could this be unreasonable? The sect master turned around and grabbed the railing of the demon court and said to him, "I will send someone in 3 days. Go home now." What? So that's it. Why do you still have to ask me to agree or disagree? Can I go out on my own or not? You have to answer properly. It's really frustrating. The sect master looked at the surrounding scenery. The green fields and clear sky of the demon court were truly a sight he had not seen in a long time. Evening at the master's palace. The master poured wine to invite the great Dharma protector. This is a gift for him during the hard days of the past time. The great protector thanked the sect master and finished the bowl of wine. The master asked what had happened to the third young master recently. The young master has recovered his health at his residence, the great protector reported. Is it all that simple? The sect master was skeptical. He judged this matter quite well, because 10 years ago he thought that the third young master was a weapon, so he picked he up. The third young master is just a poisonous snake, making the sect master very disappointed. But today when we met again, he took the initiative to ask him, or because of leaving the devil one can understand the word death. The judge's court is the place to distinguish the demons who need to be judged. They will be led there. The leader and the Dharma array there will distinguish that person. The judge's court will show the heart of the person entering the array. Of course, that person's state will be somewhat shown and affect that scene area unconsciously. Suppose if the cult leader is not satisfied with that person, then at that moment the matrix of the demon lord will attack that person according to the cult leader's request. If you want to kill that person, they will be destroyed instantly and brutally. It is a formation to know the inside of a person. It is a formation at the highest level that only the sect master can open. The sect leader asked the great Dharma protector, "Is Kotruk Lam being taken good care of?" Every 2 days, the subordinates sent someone from the hospital to take care of that place. On average, 5 people died a month, but fortunately, no one died in the last 4 months. The sect master praised the great protector for doing a good job. Temporarily let the people of the Dharma protector retreat and send the third young master to Kotruk Lam. Hearing this advice from the master, the great Dharma protector did not believe it, and asked him again. The master affirmed, "That's right. It was a good place for him to get some fresh air." Luke Pham An came to Kotruk Lam and witnessed the scene and shuddered. "The demon sect leader looks like a pervert. He asked so sincerely, and yet you threw him to this remote place. What did he do wrong to end up in this place?" Unable to stay angry, he cursed the master as a damned thing. "Is this a good place to get some fresh air? He's a bad guy. He's a bastard. He's a narrow-minded person." Someone appeared behind him and whispered in his ear, "Young master, you're going too far. That's very dangerous. He turned back and saw a blond young man about the same age as the third young master. He asked, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He said, "Your insults and curses towards the sect master right now are enough to get you imprisoned. Even the young master and the young ladies are no exception." He told him, "Listen carefully. That's not insulting the master." "It's so clear, how can you say it's not insulting? If I misunderstood, I hope you will forgive me." "Is he royalty or what? Why don't I insult him behind his back?" Also right, this dark sect is even dangerous to the royal family. The sect master is not only like the royal family, but also the incarnation of God. He asked him, "Are you from the Dharma Protectorate?" "Yes, I am from the Dharma Protectorate." He also respectfully saluted him and introduced himself as Hung Dong, the captain of the third team of the Court of Guardians. It was an honor for his family for 3 generations to be assigned the task of protecting the third young master, a highly respected figure of the sect. He was actually his personal bodyguard. 3 lifetimes then, even more honor. He just needed him to stay away from him. He swore, "I will sacrifice my life to protect the third young master." He didn't need his oaths. By the time it was dawn, the scenery in the bamboo forest was clearer. The bamboo leaves gently fell on his head. Luke Pham An's eyes were red. Dark circles under his eyes clearly showed a tired night without sleep. This beautiful scene finally has only one answer, that is, he can't get out of here. No matter how hard he try, he can't get out of here. He was so upset that he cried and banged his head on the bamboo stick beside him, cursing, "These hateful demons! I just want to go out. Why are you locking me up here?" That's right. Nothing is easy from the beginning anyway. It's better not to waste time with such nonsense thoughts. Why did he force himself to leave the demonic cult in the first place? Was it because of misfortune? Ever since he discovered that this body was the third son of the demonic cult, he instinctively felt that he was very unfortunate. Someday he will have to leave here, but not now. If so, there is no other way but to accept this and live like the third young master of the demonic cult. But to live with this body, he needs strength. He needs more strength. Now, Luke Pham An is in Tien Ma Tanjiao, a place that puts power first and worships the strongest people more than any other force in the martial arts world. Waiting to be kicked out of this place is not a good way. In the end, whether he lives or dies, Luke Pham An must follow the path of martial arts. He won't use any more tricks. He will get out of this place on his own, definitely, with his own strength. Hung Dong behind him stuck his face out and softly called, "Young master." He scared he so much that he had to scream because he was startled. Hung Dong said the food was ready, so he called him over to eat. Luke Pham An was angry. "I told you not to bother me." Hung Dong only felt that they had been here for 2 days. Not to mention eating, he had not even drunk any water. He was worried about his health, so he could not sit still anymore. It's been 2 days and he didn't notice, but Hung Dong didn't have to appear with that look. He reminded him to pay more attention, then felt this guy's brain is not very smart. Could it be that all the people of the demonic sect are like this? 3rd day entering Kotruk Lam. First of all, this was the first time he had rectified his disordered mind and body with his own external energy. Luke Pham An sat on a rock in the middle of a bamboo forest practicing martial arts. He felt that the flow of vital energy with the Wu Hin Gong was different from normal. This realm is the 3rd stage of the practice. The levels of Wu Hin Gong are divided from the 1st stage of Wu Hin Gong to the 5th stage of Wu Hin Gong. In his previous life, when he was the highest level Kingslayer, he had only reached the 4th stage of Wu Hin Gong. With Wu Hin Gong, the combination of martial arts and physical strength is more important than the level. This body that was exhausted from the internal energy deviation had already reached the 3rd stage of cultivation. Then he had to try to reach the 4th stage of cultivation. Could it be that the body of the 3rd young master Tran An was a genius? In addition, the essence of the true formula can also be used very naturally. The essence of the true method helps to remove impurities in the surrounding air and helps him absorb the essence in it, making the surrounding air purer. The impurities in the body are condensed and transformed into internal energy. If the surrounding air becomes purer, the effectiveness of internal energy and mental methods will double, and achievements will be quickly achieved. If this continues, he will be able to quickly regain his previous martial arts skills. If so, then he will break through the 4 stages of martial arts. His whole body glowed and his face changed color. A dazzling light shines through the bamboo forest. To the 5th day in Kotruk Lam. His body is also considered healthy. His internal organs and acupuncture points had also become healthier and more active than his age. Thanks to that life in Kotruk Lam, which he had been worried about, suddenly became favorable. His hair color is also darker now. That's right, because if he falls into the devil's heart, his hair will turn gray. Moreover, the food is also more delicious. Or is it because Hung Dong's cooking skills are better? In addition, Hung Dong also chopped firewood and did other good jobs to serve their daily life. Now he can use the same abilities as his previous life. The moment he was called the King Killer was also the moment he received the ability of super senses. Every second and every minute had to stand before the threshold of life and death, awakening his natural talent. And as an assassin, in order to survive, he accumulated a lot of experience and civilizing abilities, and his martial arts helped to enhance that super sense called the 6 super senses. The first is that the super sense of the body's 5 senses becomes especially sensitive, more than that of animals. Without having to see, he could still feel his surroundings very vividly. He hated that he adapted so well to this place, just like his previous life. Hung Dong used that look to suddenly appear and say to him, "Master, it's time to eat, hurry back." How many times has he still surprised him with that way? He used to think Hung Dong was just talking nonsense to make fun of him, but in this world, there is no such stupid person. When the sun goes down, animals will be more active. The two of them set out. Now he had grasped the fundamentals of martial arts. With this innate body, if he could absorb what he had comprehended as the Kingslayer in his previous life, he might be able to become strong in a short period of time. Hung Dong was walking when he squinted and felt something. Is a precious treasure. The wind blew through the bamboo forest, each small leaf fluttering along his hair. Thanks to the Wu Hin Gong Luke Faman's body technique has partially recovered. He will try to use lightness skill to see how much progress he can make. The 2 martial arts from the previous life have been partially restored. First, Wu Hin Gong helps restore the bloodline and increase body technique. Second, the 6 divine powers of the demon helps enhance one's own superpowers and senses. There is still one thing that needs to be restored, which is the dark magic in the essence of the 6 true techniques. He used his lightness skill to fly through the bamboo forest while thinking in his head. With these 3 martial arts, Luke Faman can wander the world. What he needs to do is to practice those 3 martial arts to the extreme. At that time, the martial arts world will be the place where he can roam without any opponent. Oh, but he suddenly wondered, what if he practiced dark magic here? This place is the demonic cult, the place where the demonic cult leader rules. It is unclear which demonic art he mainly practices. He was quite curious about this. Then Luke Pham An returned to his house in the bamboo forest and called Hung Dong. He appeared very quickly. He has something to ask him. Among the 3rd young master's brothers, is there anyone who practices demonic arts? What I mean to ask is there anyone who has ever comprehended a certain type of peak mystical art? Hung Dong was stunned by his question. I don't understand what you mean, young master. Forgive him for being incompetent. So no one has practiced mystical arts. I'm just curious. I don't mean anything by it. For example, if I practiced demonic arts to master them, I don't know what would happen. Hung Dong said that this is a bit unreasonable in the demonic sect. If it's just subordinates in the sect, then it's not clear. But if the young ladies or young masters don't practice and master the demonic arts, the sect leader will definitely not let it go. After listening, he ordered Hung Dong to go to the library quickly. Hung Dong expressed that he did not understand what he was going there for. He asked him to come there quickly on his orders. When you return, bring all the martial arts of the demon sect back to me. As he spoke, he used his eyes as firmly as nails. Hung Dong went to the sand library according to his will. The owner was very curious when he heard him say that the 3rd young master sent him to follow the instructions. The owner was surprised because isn't the young master already proficient in the magic manuals, or does he want to learn something new from our sect's martial arts? Hung Dong boldly asked, Sir, may I ask you something? Because he is a bodyguard who follows the young master day and night, he has something to ask him. I wonder if after the 3rd young master wakes up from his delusion, his memory will still be clear, or if there will be any changes compared to before. How did he know? Hung Dong asked before Tam Kong Tu was a martial arts genius proficient in the martial arts of the religion, but quite selfish and arrogant, not considering anyone. Even Luke Pham On didn't know what he was like before. But after recovering from his mental illness, the third young master's personality changed completely. According to Thu Lan, the maid serving the third young master, he changed his way of speaking, sometimes becoming shy and polite. Even the maid beside him felt it. Moreover, the leisurely appearance when walking out of the sect master's court. Now Hongdong also asked him this question. It is really impossible to answer. He understood everything Hongdong said and advised him, don't think too much. The person he protects is extremely important to the sect. The person who can later hold the entire fate of the sect in his hands. All of the young master's actions do not require much thought. Just protect the third young master with all your might. That is also the duty of a bodyguard. According to those instructions, he was also given Hongdong an object which was a key. The time to bring the martial arts manual was only 3 days. He asked to bring all the high-level magic martial arts, but mixed in the common magic martial arts to bring. Then he added one more thing. He asked Hongdong if he had told the young master about Ko Truk Lam yet. Hongdong had not said anything yet. He originally intended to tell the young master today. He blamed him for not knowing how dangerous Ko Truk Lam was and should have told the third young master from the beginning. Told him, from now on you must protect the young master carefully. I don't understand why the sect master let the third young master go to Ko Truk Lam. That is an extremely dangerous place, even for the masters of the religion. In the past, as well as now, that place is extremely dangerous, although practicing there helps martial artists advance faster. But this is also the grave of countless masters of the religion over thousands of years. That great disaster is a gift of fate to those who have the chance. But if anyone touches it without luck or fate, there is only death. I don't understand why the new sect master has tested the third young master twice already. I wonder if this time the third young master will be lucky in Ko Truk Lam. He really hopes the young master can overcome. In the Truk house in Ko Truk Lam, Luke Pham An is counting the martial arts. More than 17 books? Why so many? He felt tired looking at so many words. According to Hongdong, there were many more in the library, but these were the most advanced secrets. That said, there are still many more like this. If I practice them all, I will probably be old. Wait a minute, if you only consider demonic arts as martial arts cultivated below the mysterious arts, then it will only be more difficult to cultivate. I will try to cultivate with all my heart. Hongdong has something to say to the third young master. In these 17 books, 3 must be returned within 3 days. Those 3 books are the 3 most important martial arts books in the 10 great demonic arts. These 3 books can only be studied by the 3 great princes, the second young master and the third young master. The 10 great demonic arts are famous in the world. If you only learn this one evil technique, it is enough to show off to the martial arts world. There is no one in the sect who does not know it. Yet the third young master does not remember anything, which makes Hongdong very curious. He asked him, is there something strange that you keep looking at me like that? Hongdong quickly apologized for being rude. Because the third young master is far from that position, I was a bit surprised. Hongdong asked directly. After waking up, did the young master completely lose his previous memories? Luke Pham and slammed his hand on the table and stood up to tell him, after waking up, I don't know why I forgot all my martial arts. I don't understand why all the martial arts were forgotten. My spirit and body were also affected, so it was different from before. Being sent to Ko Truk Lam also made me angry. Now I just have a feeling of despair. He pretended to be tired and said, do I have to practice all these martial arts again? So Hongdong had to help him. The only person I trust now is you. I have to cultivate and heal my wounds. Listening to Luke Pham An's gossip made Hongdong's eyes moved and tears flowed for a long time. Why is this guy so touching? Hongdong knelt down. My lord, even if I die, I must serve you. Night in Ko Truk Lam. Hongdong discovered that these rats are most active on full moon days. But the fence looks solid, so I feel somewhat secure. Even though this is the safest place in Ko Truk Lam, I still can't let my guard down. Hongdong looked inside the house and saw Luke Pham An diligently reading a book, so he told himself to protect him and avoid distracting him. Go early, come back early. Bring the things the young master needs quickly. In the room right after Hongdong left, Luke Pham and fell asleep without realizing it. Although the number of people who know about this new martial arts world's haunting aura cannot be counted on the fingers of one hand, this is still a peerless secret technique. Although the haunting energy is not as strong as the secret technique of Natbang Kupai, it can be said that this is the most profound and pure mystical skill in the world. But the magic arts are completely different. The magic arts always focus on breaking the spear. The word soft is completely overwhelmed by the word hard. Compared to defense, offense is always placed first in the world. Always pursue a flexible and pure martial art. That was also shown through the times he took action while on duty as an assassin. The 10 great demonic techniques must be an extremely powerful martial arts manual. But with his current strength, it's probably not enough to cultivate this thing. How can I practice magic and improve my obsession at the same time? Opened the pile of books and saw the true demon magic. This seems appropriate. True demonic skill and demonic return skill are two basic types of skill in the foundation of the 10 great demonic skills. True demonic skill is a martial art that utilizes the origin demonic chi. The more he read, the more confused he felt. I should calm down a bit. Looking out at the quiet night sky. Indeed, at times like this, when the body and mind are unstable, the practice of no love is still the true love to cultivate. He feels something. Could it be that Hungdong has returned? Or is he secretly monitoring my actions? I have to be more careful, although Hungdong always has a carefree appearance. But the truth never completely cut through the doubts about his condition. Today, maybe just come here. He stopped practicing and turned back to ask, "Are you back?" But facing him was not Hungdong, but a pair of eyes as bright as stars. The next second, the thing was rushing towards him. That thing broke the wall? He guessed right. That is a chicken with many heads and 6 limbs. Its wings are as big as an adult. There are 3 heads. What the hell is this? Could it be a variant of the legendary great rooster monster beside the king of hell? What the hell is this land hiding? The other chicken rushed to attack him. Damn, what kind of chicken is that? How fast is it? It lifted his shirt. It even knows how to roar. What should I do? Hungdong is on his way back with a lot of weapons. Originally, the 3rd young master only used the sword technique of the temporary young master. Until now, he has always been known as the number 1 in the world. Who knows when he picks up the sword and man can merge and regain their lost memories. But if the young master were to regain his cold and fierce nature like before, it would not necessarily be a good thing. Just imagining it, Hungdong would feel scared if he got caught up in the trouble. He reminded himself not to think nonsense. After all, he was his martial god escort. He absolutely could not let personal feelings interfere with the mission. He felt a dense blood energy ahead. Something happened at the 3rd young master's place. He is facing that beast? It was so noisy that it annoyed him. He raised his hand to swing his fist, but failed when its limb grabbed one of his arms. In a losing position, Luke Pham An used his remaining hand to try to punch it in the head. Unfortunately, it has 3 heads. Being punched, it got angry and agitated and roared. The wind blew up like a storm. What kind of chicken knows how to use negative energy to roar like this? This thing is definitely not just an ordinary beast. Looks like this is going to be tough. If only I had a weapon, that would be great. Thinking Luke Pham. An looked around to see if there was anything around that could be used as a weapon. He saw a piece of bamboo that might work. The other chicken went crazy and screamed, wanting to use the same move to attack him again. Very quickly, Luke Pham An picked up the bamboo stick and jumped into the sky, wanting to strike it down with a fatal blow. As he had expected, the blow just now hit its head, but the bamboo stick broke into pieces. But it wasn't dead. Its eyes were looking at him. It wasn't even in pain. The strange beast threw him away and he crashed into the fence. His body collapsed in pain from being blown away so far. It hurts so much that bastard doesn't know. Now I understand. If I only use normal attacks, I can't penetrate its iron armor. The 3-headed chicken beast rushed forward to attack, flapping its wings so hard that a storm arose. I never thought I would have to use this on those beasts, but it seems like I have no other choice but to use it. The fighting cock flapped its wings frantically and charged forward. He is also ready to come and pick up. On the trajectory of the big rooster's flight, he still stood motionless. He clasped his hands together, and the mantra, the 6-fold heavenly La, the binomial form super-examiner, was activated. The binomial form of the 6-fold heavenly La, the super-examination form, is a type of Zhuangong that moves at high speed within the perception of the supreme user. The ability to perceive the surroundings makes things move slower than consciousness. He found its weak spot, the heart in its chest. Luke Pham An will end it with the bamboo stick in his hand. Just thinking, he directly grabbed the bamboo stick and stabbed it straight through the heart. Blood spurted out in that direction. Luke Pham An arrogantly and heroically finished it off. Hung Dong hurriedly returned to the courtyard to look for the third young master, only to see the scene of devastation and ruins, here making him worried and drawing his sword to call out. "Third young master, where are you?" He called him back. "I'm here, you're back." The image of a young man in torn clothes and covered in blood sitting cross-legged on a rock made Hung Dong worriedly ask, "Young master, are you okay? That chicken is also very scary." Hung Dong looked over and saw the body of Thuong Pu and was surprised. "Is Thuong Pu the name of this chicken?" Hung Dong worriedly said, "Let's not talk about that yet. Let's treat the wound on your body first." But that's not his blood. His body is fine except for a few scratches. This surprised Hung Dong. Wasn't the danger of the Thuong Pu equal to that of a leopard? He couldn't believe his eyes, so he asked again, could it be that the young master took it down alone? "This question is too ignorant. Who else is here but you?" He asked him, "Do you have a big pot?" Hung Dong said, "Of course," but did not understand what he was going to do. Luke Pham An asked him, "Boil water and bring bamboo shoots here. Tonight I will cook this chicken and I want to hear you explain some things." After saying that, he used a broken bamboo stick to point straight at his neck. "Why do you know this chicken and what kind of place is Ko Truk Lam? You must tell me everything." Ko Truk Lam is a dangerous natural demon forest that appeared before the establishment of the demon god sect. It is a place with the densest spiritual energy in the world. And there is something special about this place, which is the dense flow of spiritual energy. It does not spread around but only concentrates in the forest area. Therefore, the amount of spiritual energy accumulated in the forest is increasingly dense. Thanks to that accumulated spiritual energy, not only the wood energy but also the earth energy is abundant. The bamboo trees growing here are especially thick and sturdy. But does growing so fast mean a shorter lifespan? However, their saplings grow many times faster than normal bamboo trees, so the forest is maintained. Some bamboos are not only sturdy, but also have great power due to absorbing a lot of spiritual energy. They can become a rare medicinal herb. That thing could also be a spiritual medicine or a poison, because the amount of spiritual qi is too dense. If it is not refined many times, the human body will not be able to withstand that concentrated spiritual medicine. More than half of the magic pills refined by this religion come from the bamboo trees in Ko Truk Lam. If so, wouldn't it be possible to refine a large quantity of spirit medicine? Hung Dong said, "That's not that simple. The bamboo trees used for making elixirs are all deep in the forest, and there are many monsters and spirit creatures living there. They are called monsters." Hung Dong reminded his young master, "Don't underestimate it because Thuong Pu is still the weakest among them. If you say so, then there are stronger ones. They belong to the lower class species in the forest. In addition, among the confirmed species, there are species so strong that they can fight with martial arts experts, even though they are only mid-level. Therefore, every 2 years, the leaders of the religion led by the great Dharma protector will go into the forest to collect those spiritual bamboo trees. The area in the heart of the bamboo forest is so dangerous that even they are afraid. The bamboo garden where the two of them are staying is the safest place in Ko Truk Lam." Hung Dong also did not think that the merchant would attack at this time because of his subjective arrogance and inability to protect the young master, so he hopes that he will forgive him. Because the wall surrounding the members is not good enough yet, he saw Hung Dong also set up the octagonal formation on the outer ring. "So it's okay." Encouraged him, "As a guard you did very well, so don't worry too much." Ignoring Hung Dong's nagging, he gave him a bowl of delicious chicken soup. Hung Dong did not expect that he would actually lure this demon Thuong Pu up to eat. Not sure if it is edible? Seeing Hung Dong's appearance, he also understood that he didn't dare to eat. He looked so big, but was timid. Although it wasn't as good as other spiritual bamboos, it wasn't any different from a spiritual medicine. After listening to what he said, Hung Dong ate the whole thigh and drank all the soup, and then asked him for another bowl because it was so delicious. This place is too dangerous. He couldn't help but wonder why the sect master sent him here. Anyway, I have to quickly finish practicing magic before I can continue. The octagonal formation was also built very well by Hung Dong before. Although it has been improved a bit, he still finds it very good. Hung Dong suddenly thought he had researched, but in fact he understood at a glance. He asked curiously, "Have you learned the octagonal formation, Luke Pham?" Anne dodged the question, saying that he was just guessing. Could it be that he learned it from his previous life? Learning formations is completely different from learning martial arts. If you only know a little bit, you can't make such a comment. In the end, who is the third young master that makes Hung Dong-ngi curious? The more he knows about him, the more questions he has. Within 3 days he had read more than 10 difficult books on magic. It was even easy to control Thuangpu, while his body had not yet completely healed. Although the third young master's martial arts were completely lost due to a mental breakdown, he was not sad at all. Surely the young master had something that he did not know. In cultivating magic, he tried his best. This is the first time he practices this martial art, so he cannot do it quickly. To quickly practice successfully and become stronger, he cannot let go of the obsession he has practiced. I will start to try the demonic arts and the secret techniques, to see if the origin of the demonic arts and the secret techniques of the 9 sects could be unified. Thinking as he began to close his eyes and cultivate, Hung Dong was sweeping the yard outside, very worried. The third young master has been in the room for 10 days and told him not to disturb him.